Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. This week's show, with all the stuff going on in the world right now, tools to thrive when the world is going batshit crazy. Yeah. Truly, what else is possible with all of this, my sweet friends, that we have never even considered? I have had so many conversations with people, whether they just reached out to me privately or I'm working with them one-to-one or group calls, whatever it is, where people are not sure what to do when the world is going batshit crazy. Now, the world has been going batshit crazy for a while, probably forever, really. There's always been some sort of trauma, and right now it's, at least for me and many other people around me, it's louder and batshittier, crazier than ever before. And so a lot of people are asking, what do I do, Glenyce? How do I continue to thrive? How do I continue to celebrate my successes? How do I continue to build my business? How do I do this when I'm aware of what's going on? Which is really how this whole show got birthed, because I was looking at that for myself also. And I saw a fellow business person post something, and I was so inspired by it. And this is not exactly what she said, but it's close. Was, I'm not sure what to do in this situation. I'm not sure how to continue to market my business and work with my clients and live as though basically nothing's going on when we all know there's a lot going on. And she said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to contribute to everyone else who's choosing to be aware of it and to continue forward while being aware of it all, contributing in all the ways that work for her, is what she meant, and continuing on. Not stopping because, not using it as an excuse, not going down the rabbit hole, but actually aware that it's going on, contributing in whatever ways, and not stopping. And I was really inspired by that. One, because I was really unsure also really what to do. I think it was like a week ago, I was even like, do I even send out an email? Like my weekly newsletter? Do I send that out? Like what would actually be a contribution here? And when I saw her post, I was like, yeah, actually me not sending out that newsletter wouldn't contribute. My weekly newsletter, if you're not on it, get on it. Hello. But also that has, things that are inspiring me. It has the art that I created that week. It has this radio show, a link to it, so you get it as soon as it's available. All sorts of other awesome stuff that I don't even recall right now. So me not sending that out didn't actually make sense to me. Now there's going to be, for some of you, that actually would make sense to not. So please do what actually works for you. That's really the ultimate of all of this. Do what works for you. And I'm also going to share some tools to thrive when the world is going batshit crazy. Because honestly, anything less than that is then contributing to that, the world going batshit crazy. So as usual, these tools are in no shape, form, whatever. I might say them as number 1, 2, 3, but they're all useful. Use the ones that work, try them out. If you're not sure, try them. If you're new here, these tools are from Access Consciousness, and you can go to accessconsciousness.com for more information about how they work. Basically, it's all just a bunch of amazing magic tricks that you can use to change anything. a tool to thrive when the world is going batshit crazy, is one of my all-time favorites. I talk about it all the time. If you're not new here, you've heard me talk about it before. You'll hear me talk about it again. It is the tool of interesting point of view. So this is where, when you become aware of something that you actually have a point of view about, something that you're judging, something that you're going, this is wrong and horrible and shouldn't be going on, and that energy, here's the thing, is the same energy as the thing. So what we want to be really aware of is when we are adding energy to the batshit crazy. And we want to then use this tool to stop it, which is very simple. When you recognize that, let's say you turn on the news or you read the newspaper or somebody's sharing something they saw on social media about it, and you start going into this is horrible and this is awful, and stop and say this. You can say it to yourself. You can say it out loud. It doesn't matter how you say it, just say it. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. You're going to say it 5, 10, maybe 50 times. What you're looking to do is actually change the energy of whatever it is you're judging. And when we're adding energy to something like this, by judging it that it's wrong and it's horrible and shouldn't be going on, that's what we need to change. Now, does that mean we're going to get to the place where we just sit back and go, no big deal, it's not happening to me, so who cares? That's not what we're going to get to. We can't get there. That's not something that will ever be possible for us. We actually have infinite caring. So what you want to recognize is that when you get out of the judgment, you'll actually be aware then of what's possible. You'll be aware of what's going to create greater. So you might suddenly come across, who knows, a charity to donate to, an idea of putting together something that would contribute to a group of people, or there's a billion things, but all the while we're in the wrongness of the thing, we'll never, ever, ever, ever change it. So our tool for this one is interesting point of view, I have this point of view. So let's do it together. I want you to bring up something. You know, it doesn't have to be about the batshit crazy that's going on the planet right now. It might be something very personal to you. It might be something that you're struggling with, a specific situation, a money thing, a relationship thing, whatever. Just bring up one for the purpose of us doing this together right now. Okay, so bring up that energy, bring up the judgment, wrong it is and how bad it is, and like whatever that is for you. I'm going to bring up something also. Okay, there we go. So, together. Interesting point of view, we have this point of view. Interesting point of view, we have this point of view. Interesting point of view, we have this point of view. Interesting point of view, we have this point of view. Interesting point of view, we have this point of view. Interesting point of view, we have this point of view. So, check back in. If that situation is still lots of judgment and energy, continue with it until it's gone. What I find often occurs, though, is that it changes, and then there's maybe another piece to it. So let's say we were mad at our spouse for not taking out the garbage, and we're doing it, and then all of a sudden as we're doing it, we start thinking about the time that they also didn't wash the car like they said they were going to, or something like that. So we can kind of go into other places and run it there too. So just do it until you have that spaciousness, until you get to be present with you. That's what we're looking for with this tool. So it is such an easy way to change things so that you can then be more aware of what's required in whatever situation. Any situation, especially with the batshit crazy going on. A tool to thrive when the world is going batshit crazy is the energetic contributions from access consciousness. These are like magic. They change things as if by magic. They're phenomenal. Now, they're exactly what they sound like, an energetic contribution. So you're going to contribute energetically. When I very first started studying Access Consciousness back in 2011, I didn't use these for many years. I bet you it was 3 or 4 years before I truly started using the energetic contributions. It didn't make sense to me. I didn't feel like I was doing anything, so I didn't do them until I did. So that might be that you don't find them as useful, and it might be that you love them and use them all the time. It might be you've never heard of them before and you just want to try them out. Whatever. What I recommend is if you've been like I was for all those years and kind of avoiding them, maybe try like a 30-day challenge with yourself of choosing to use them once a day, just to check it out. So I also have a radio show from many years ago. I don't even recall what it's called, but I do know it's all about the energetic contributions. So we'll link to that. You could also find it in the radio show notes. If you're on my email list, you get them emailed to you on a PDF every Sunday. If you're not, you can find them on my webpage with this radio show. They're underneath and you can read them there. So energetic contributions, there's many of them in Access Consciousness. If you're ever interested, you will find them in the foundation class, Access Consciousness Foundation class. I facilitate that. They're amazing, my sweet friends. I have one coming up on the books right now in July called The Pool Party, Bars and Foundation. No, we do not swim during class, but you can swim before and at lunch and after class. That's why it's called the Pool Party class here at my acreage. It may be also offered online. It really depends what Access Consciousness chooses as we get closer to that. And I'll also, of course, have more coming up. You'll find the link somewhere. So what these energetic contributions do is they allow us to be the magic of us energetically. So when you are in that space of the batshit crazy, when you're in that energy, when you're joining in, when you're spinning in the what's going to happen, what if this happens, what if that happens, what if that doesn't happen, like whatever that is, when you're there, you can energetically contribute. There's many different numbers. We're going to just talk about the number 3 for the sake of this show. And it's basically where you energetically contribute. I like to use my hands. Dr. Dane here, who's the co-founder of Access Consciousness, he has all sorts of videos and radio shows and all the things about energy and energetically contributing and all of that. If you ever see him on video, you'll see his hands are moving all the time and he's doing all of this. So a 3, what we're going to do together today is we're going to contribute this 3 energy, which is like taking a lightning bolt and blowing apart the solidity of a situation. Now, here's the thing though, and this is the thing with every tool that we use in Access Consciousness. You don't want to have a point of view about what it should do. So we're going to do some 3s together, but you don't want to have the assumption that it's going to make this happen or that happen or make this not happen or any of those things. We want to be really total space when we're doing a 3. Because if we do a 3 for what we think is the best or the way we think it should turn out, we're actually really limiting what could occur. Because when we decide from our head what should be going on, that's very limited. Our head, our mind can only make a decision based on what we can see or what has occurred before. That's very limited. What could occur on the planet in the next second could blow all of our minds, could be so beyond this reality. It could be that it's just so magical that we can't even comprehend it because it hasn't occurred, because our mind can only comprehend what's occurred. So what we want to do when we energetically contribute is have no point of view about how it should occur. So sometimes things get worse before they get better. Sometimes, like, there's so many things. So when we're doing this energetic contribution, this 3 to contribute, it's just that. It's to contribute with no point of view about what that contribution would be. Yeah, okay. So with that, right now, again, you can think personally, you can think globally, however you want to use this 3 together right now. But we're just going to bring up the energy of a situation that's solid, which is any situation that you would see as batshit crazy. There's solidity there. So it doesn't matter. You can pick a very specific thing or a global thing. And we're just going to do some 3s together. So what I do when I do energetic contributions, or when I be energetic contributions is more accurate definition, but it doesn't sound right. So when I be this, what I do is I bring to mind, I bring like the energy of it. So not necessarily to mind, but the energy of the situation. So I'm going to do it globally. So I'm bringing up all that energy, all that solidity. And now I'm being really present with me, with my body, with me as the infinite being I truly be, being really present. And I am going to contribute whatever's going to contribute. So you can do this with me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and basically I just do it like that until I can perceive a shift. Now, what's that shift? Who knows? I'm not going to define it. I'm not even sure. It just is a shift. That's all we're looking for. Now, a few ways that you can use 3s, really magical. If when you wake up in the morning, you wake up tired, you can actually do 10 of the 3s, like just contribute. So the wording you could say is something like, I'm contributing to anything that doesn't allow my body to feel rested. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do 10 of them. You could word it like that. You don't even have to word it. You could just wake up feeling kind of crappy and just anything this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can do it like that. Like there's so many ways. The other way, years ago, I used to have a really bad knee problems back in 2015. And what I would do when I was walking and it felt really, really painful is every step I took, I would go 3, 3, 3, 3. Now, I mean with my feet. I wasn't doing this with my hands when I was walking. Like every step that I took energetically, I would be saying 3, 3, 3. So I would be contributing with every step that I took, which there was a lot of times back then I was walking through airports. I was walking blocks and blocks to different places where I was facilitating classes and stuff. So there was a lot of time where I spent walking that I would do those 3s, and it would change it so much just by doing the 3s with every step I took. So again, you can use these in any way that you can find. There's no right or wrong way to using these. There's just being them. Using them, being them. And again, in that older radio show, it is all about, oh gosh, I think we go up to number 7 in that show or something. And then in Foundation, we go all the way up to number 20. And once you take Foundation, you can move on to Choice of Possibilities, which is then I think it goes up to 24 or something at this point. I mean, there's so many numbers. There's so many different ways that contribute. But for now, for this show, just use 3s. On anything that's solid, anything that seems batshit crazy, use 3s. A tool to thrive when the world is batshit crazy, asking this question. What is the beautiful energy underneath this? What that does is it takes us out of the wrongness, it takes us out of the judgment, and it puts us into the space of possibilities. Because often when something is batshit crazy, or we're seeing it as that, there's so much judgment, there's all that solidity, it's all of that harshness, it's all of that intensity. So when we start asking, what is the beautiful energy underneath this? Yeah, then the universe can actually show us. The universe can actually show us what the beautiful energy is. There's always beautiful energy. Once we get the energy of that, now we're out of the judgment, we're out of the solidity, we're out of the harshness, into the beautiful energy of it, which is where we can then contribute. We can actually be the contribution. Now, what does being the contribution mean? Yeah, it just means being with no point of view, with no judgment, with no solidity, being. And then in that space, you'd actually have an awareness of what that actually could be like. If you were being a contribution, it's not a doing, it's a being. You might then come across something that you could contribute to, like maybe there's money to contribute to a charity, maybe there's an action to take that would contribute, maybe there's a setting up a different charity type thing, or there's there's so many things that could be. And that's what you want to recognize, is that when we're in the space of the beautiful energy, meaning we're not in the judgment, we'll become aware of what's actually going to change it. Because this reality has really, really taught us that the only way to change something is through judgment. So we have to judge it and judge it and judge it. And then through that judgment, we can change it. And that's not actually true. It's not actually true. You'll never change anything through judgment. You'll only add to it. So the more that we're in the space of the beautiful energy, the more that will be the contribution, that then we'll be aware of if there's actually anything else to do, if there is an action step. Sometimes there isn't, sometimes there is. But it's a totally different space. It's a totally different energy. And just like all the tools that I share, this tool can be used on anything. If you're having an upset with somebody at work, ask just yourself in your mind, what is the beautiful energy underneath this? It's going to take you out of the wrongness of the situation and put you into the spaciousness, the possibilities, and then whatever might contribute, you'd actually be aware of it, and then you could take the action. And really, when we look at all the batshit crazy on the planet right now, what is the beautiful energy underneath it all? Oh, yeah. What is the beautiful energy underneath it all? Yeah. And like every question that we ask in Access Consciousness, we're not looking for an answer. We're not going to try to figure it out. We're just asking, what is the beautiful energy underneath this all? And we're allowing the universe to deliver that to us in whatever way it can. Might not be the moment you ask a question, might not be for an hour, might not be for 3 days. It doesn't matter. We're going to stay in the question. The question will always, always create greater. The answer, the trying to figure it out, the involving of your mind, that's where it becomes a limitation. A tool to thrive when the world is going batshit crazy. The clearing statement from Access Consciousness. Now, you can go to theclearingstatement.com for more information about how it works. It's beautifully described there. So if you're new here, or if you've been around a while but you've never visited that page, please go. Dr. Dane here, the co-founder of Access Consciousness, does a great job of explaining it. Basically, the wording is, I'll give you the wording first, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. That's the clearing statement. You can say it in whatever way you would like. You can say right and wrong, good and bad. You could say good and bad, right and wrong, shorts, boys, beyonds, however you want to say it. The way that you'll always hear me say it, just because that's how I memorized it all those years ago. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And basically, it's like a magic wand. So if you're driving to work, or you're trying to fall asleep at night, or you're sitting watching TV, but your mind is going and you're freaking out about what might happen with the world, or what might go on, or what won't ever happen, or like you're in that space, you don't even have to do anything except repeat the clearing statement over and over. And there's various ways. So if you haven't memorized it, you don't have to. You can keep it really simple and just say the access consciousness clearing statement, the access consciousness clearing statement, the access consciousness clearing statement. You could do that. The other thing you could do is just go POC and POD. POC and POD, POC and POD. So that's a very shortened version of the clearing statement. Or if you're like me, a little bit OCD, maybe a lot OCD, I say the whole thing. Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Over and over and over. And what that does is it clears all the insanity. It clears all the crazy. It clears all my points of views. It clears all the points of views I'm aware of. It clears all the crazy. And it allows me to be me. So it is something that I highly recommend, that if this feels yummy to you, that you memorize it or you use the shortened version or whatever and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Because here's the thing, we often do this thing of deciding that something has value that it doesn't. So we've decided, a lot of us, not all of us, but many of us have decided there's value in worrying about something that's totally out of our control. There's value in talking about how horrible something is that we can't change specifically. There's value in thinking about it and worrying ourselves sick about it. That's the value we've decided. It's not actually true. There's no value in that because there's nothing that we can do about that external stuff out there. What can we do though is take care of us. What can we do is use the clearing statement in our mind or out loud, whatever works in that moment, over and over to get out of the insanity, to get us back to the space of us, to get us back to our awareness of what we could be or do different to contribute. It's a totally different space of being. And it's something that actually takes choice, where we actually have to choose it, where we actually have to look at where are we putting our attention? What are we doing with our energy? And does it actually work? Does it actually work anymore? Does it actually work to stress about something that we ultimately can't do anything about in this moment? No. Okay, so what can we do? Well, we can take care of ourselves, which, here's the kicker, will ultimately contribute to that thing changing. Yeah. So we actually have all this magic, but we're using it against us most of the time than for us. Yeah. So all the magic that you've been using against you rather than for you, will you destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So this is one of the ways that we use the clearing statement. We ask a question like that, and then we clear all the energy that comes up around it so that we can actually be us. We can actually be us. We can actually start utilizing that magic for us, for the planet, for the possibilities. Yes, yes, yes. And it is so time, my sweet friends. If there was ever a time, now is the time for us to be the magic of us. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a fabulous week, and I look forward to chatting again next week.